A to A. Hello, hello. We wait for 6:30. 3 minutes left. The question order is different. So the question order is just random. So I just ensure that all the 20 questions are there. So different people have different orders. Is that true? I don't know. Didn't hear about it before. But it's possible. You know, the similar thing happened in the AMC8. Yeah, you know, the AMC8, the leaking of questions is everywhere for AMC8. So they didn't change the order of the question, but instead they changed the order of options for each question. So change the order for A, B, C, D. They randomized it for different regions because different regions start at different time. Yeah, I don't know. So if RMO random the order of question, then yeah, they have some question, of course. But then here's the problem. So I have to say, randomize the order of question is not fair. So if you see a very difficult question in your first or the second question, it's a disaster. Right? Okay, so now, right, so we can get started. And the question order is random, but we just talked about all the 20 questions. And then so someone says that there are some detailed stuffs in the question, they're different. So maybe if you find out your question is different from this one, yeah, then we can talk about it. The question 1, yeah. So actually this question were like 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. And maybe we also have the 10, 10, 11 of the 11, and then continue doing this. So we want to find the 2025th digit. So this is a page problem, but it's not a normal page problems because for 1-digit and 2-digit numbers, they are different. But we should know that they cannot overtake the 2-digit numbers. So 1 to 63 is just 2016. So even if the 2-digit number only occur 1 digit, it ends up a 2-digit one. So we can suppose that we end up at the 2-digit number n. Suppose we end at the 2-digit number n here. It's just 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then we have n of the n. So in total, how many digits are there? So we have 1-digit number, we have 2-digit number, but then the total number of digits, we can use something like, we can suppose all the 1-digit numbers, they are also the 2-digit number. So each number occupies 2 digits. So totally we have 1, 2, 2, 2n, right? So now we have 1 to n numbers. If each number occupies 2 digits, it's 2 times of 1 to n. And then, so we subtract the extra counted for 1-digit number. We actually counted it one more time. So we have 45, 1-digit number, we minus a 45. So this is the total number of digits from 1 to n. N is a 2-digit number here, right? And this one, we can write it like n times n plus 1 minus 45. And then we just find, so what is the value of n to make this number close to 2025? But for this question, it's not close. It's just equal. So because 2025 itself directly equal to 45 times 46 minus 45. So which means for n equal to 45, so the 2025th number is the last of this n. The last digit of 45, so which is the 5. Okay, this is question 1, a page problem. So now again, we classify the question into 3 levels. So easy question, normal question, and difficult question. So what do you think this question is? It's not easy. It's not easy. So it's either normal or difficult. I think it's normal because it just make a whole number 2025 exactly equal. It's not larger or smaller. So maybe it's a normal question. Right? It's a normal question. And then question 2. Question 2 is just an easy question. The fraction splitting, we train a lot of time in our holiday camp, if you remember, right? So generally, you look at the structure of the denominator. It's 205 times 205 plus 2 times 205, 2 times 207, which means we can simply write it as a format. The denominator is 205, 207, 207, 209. And the last one can be written as 225 times 227. And for the numerator, right, maybe we can just put a 1 here and extract this 1025 and 2025 out of it. And then inside this bracket, here we know that the denominator is the product of two numbers differed by 2. So we can adjust the numerator into their difference too. So then again, it's half times, if you make it into 2 here, 205, 207, 207, 209, 225, 227. And then inside this bracket, it's quite obvious that the denominator is the product, numerator is the difference. So now it's the difference of every single fraction. 1 over 205 minus 1 over 207, 1 over 207 minus 1 over 209, and 1 over 225, sorry, it's the 225 times 227. It's 1 over 225 minus, hey, I suppose it's different here. So I suppose the number here should be a 223 instead of 225. Because if you end up with 225, the number isn't a whole number. I remember the answer is a whole number. So anyone remember? So I suppose this one here should be 223. And here should be a 446. Is it correct? Yeah, anyone know if it's correct? So I think this question should go like this. Instead of, instead of making it into the 225, so 225 stuff, right? Because it's based on the number is set. So I suppose it's like this. I suppose it's like this. Right. Yes, right? So, yeah, okay. Right. So, then in the end, so it's the 1 over 205 minus 1 over 225 times 1025 times 2025. Then just calculate this out. So inside the bracket is 20 over 205 times 225. So it's the 10 over 205 times 225, then times 1025 times 2025. So 1025 is 5 times of 205, and 2025 is 9 times of 225. So in the end, it's 10 times 5 times 9 is 450, right? So this is the logic to make it a whole number. Yeah, okay. Okay, right, and the question 2. I suppose it's an easy question, right? The easy fraction splitting. And then the question 3. Question 3 actually is there's so many ways of doing this, but I use the similar triangle and Pythagorean theorem. This is the easiest method. So first, you should know that it's a square. So this is a 6, this is a 2, and this is also the 6, this is also the 2. So now look at this right angle. Look at this right angle. So the side ratio is a 6 to 8, and based on Pythagorean theorem, is the 3 to 4 to 5. So this is the A, B, C. So we should know that AB to BC to AC should be a 4 to 3 to 5, right? And then we want to find is the hypotenuse direction. We want to find the length of this one. How to do it? So look at this two triangles. So just look at this triangle. Maybe I call this ABCDE, right? So the triangle ADE is also a right angle triangle, also share the angle A. So ADE and the triangle ACB actually, they are similar. For this two similar triangle, so we also have the AE to DE to AD is also a 4 to 3 to 5. So which means we can get the length of AE, right? So AE would then be 6 times a 4 over 5. So now it should be a 4.8. The length of AE is a 4.8. And then, so what about this DEF? What about EF? So for EF, we noted that this is a pyramid model, ADE and ABF. So 3 to 1, we also have 3 to 1. So EF, on the other hand, would be 1/3 of AE, which is a 1.6, right? So now we find the side length of this EF. So now we want to know what is the area ratio of the shaded region overall. So the shaded region is the 1.6 square, and then the total is 8 square. So now it's 1 over 5 square, so it's the 1 over 25. Use a similar triangle Pythagorean theorem. I suppose this is the easiest method, fastest way to reach the answer. Also, you can use the division to reach it, but I think that's more complicated, right? Just a similar triangle is the best way. So this is a normal question or difficult question? It's not that difficult because you can solve it in all the different methods. Right? So I think it's a normal one. It's not a difficult one. Okay. Then the question 4. Yeah, question 4. So this angle is 35 degrees. This angle is 6 degrees. It does not seem to be 6 degrees, by the way, but never mind. So, and then we know a very weird condition is that BG equal to EF. So how to make the use of these two lines are equal? So we see the equal line in the angle calculation. We want to form an associated triangle instead. So we should put these two lines together. So the easiest way to put them inside one triangle is just to move this BG parallelly down here. We draw a parallelogram BGCP, right? So, and then we just move this BG to EP. We draw a parallelogram. In a parallelogram, the opposite sides should all be equal and parallel. So GP equal to BE, right? GP equal to BE. And then we find out the thing is that first, because the lines are parallel, BG parallel to EP. And then the angles of the same position should equal to each other. So the angle AGB equal to angle APE equal to 6 degrees, right? This one equal to 6 degrees. And also, we now put inside the triangle EFP here, right? So EFP. And then, so we can draw in this one. Actually, this EP, so EF and EP, they're equal. It does not seem equal in the picture, by the way. Right, never mind. So now again, we draw this line. We have a new right angle triangle, FGP. The triangle FGP should be congruent to the triangle CDA because they all have the right angle. They have the same length and the same length, right? So now FGP and ACD, they are the same triangle. So this is 35 degrees. This is a 55 degrees. So now the problem is solved since now we know the angle EPF equal to 61 degrees. If EPF equal to 61, then so is the EFP also equal to 61 degrees. They are equal. So then we can get this EFG then be the 26 degree. And because CE and GF, they're parallel, so now this angle based on the Z model is also equal. So the angle CEF we are looking for is also 26 degrees. So this is the angle conversion between the parallelogram, the parallel line, and associated triangles. This is not an easy question for primary school students. So it's a basic question in secondary school though, but for primary school students, right, I think this was a difficult question. Does it worth the difficult question? So I don't know. But I think the hint is quite obvious to tell you that BG equal to EF, just move them together parallelly. But I think maybe I gave it a difficult question. I gave it a difficult. Question 5 is easy. Just do the prime factorization. So this is also 5 times 7, which means this number actually equal to 5 to the power of 2 times 7 to the power of 4. And we want to write it into x to the power of y. So of course, we can just extract this 2 out. It's 5 times 7 times 7 squared. So it's 245 squared. So now the answer is 247, just prime factorization. So this is the easy question. Yeah, it's an easy question. Then question 6, also very basic question about the circle and sector from the weird shady region. We can also use the region notation to solve this question. We label all the associated regions, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we know the length here is 45. And then the length here is 39. Right. So now, in this picture, what is relevant to this shaded region? So we have 3 regular shapes here. The first regular shape is the 45 centimeter sector. And the second one is the 39 centimeter sector. And also we have the rectangle with the 39 and 45. So the region notation means that we labeled all the associated region, and then we see which regions form the regular shape. So the 45 centimeter sector is made by region 1, region 2, region 4. The small one is made by region 2 and region 3. The rectangle is made by region 1, 2, 3. And also the shaded region is made by region 2 and region 4. How can we get the region 2 and region 4? So you see that the 45 sector contain the 1, 2, 4. We only need to subtract this 1. Where does 1 come from? Yeah, 1 come from the 1, 2, 3 minus the 2, 3. So it's quite obvious, and we can use the 1, 2, 4, so which is a quarter times 45 squared times pi, minus the rectangle minus the small sector. Sorry, 39 is not 36. Someone said it's 36. But I find out it's not a whole number. And then many students tells me it's 39 instead of 36. So now open the bracket. So now it's 1/4 times 45 squared times plus 39 squared times pi minus 39 times 45. So maybe, yeah, pi equal to 3 here. This question just does not give pi equal to 3, which makes it even easier. Yeah, which makes it even easier. So now what is the final answer? But still not a whole number, by the way. Still it's not a whole number. So I thought I would make it a whole number, but I find out still it's not a whole number. Right? It's a 904.5. Something like this. Still it's not a whole number. I thought if you make it 39, can we make it a whole number? Still not. It's not a multiple 4, by the way. Okay, so this one should be an easy question. Yeah. Given as 3, right? So make it easy. Make it easy. Question 7. Yeah, I think this is just a primary 3 question, a logical reasoning, right? So about, right? So A said, I am neither the most or least. Bob is not the least. C said he has the most. D said I have the least. So only one is lying, and who is the guy? So now you see that. So in this description, so most of them are talking about the least one. So maybe we can start here. So who is the least one? Since one is lying, and then only one to admit that he is the least is the D, right? So now we can start here. So whether D is lying or not. The first case, if D is not the least, which means D is lying, right? So D is lying. So that's the first thing. We find out who's lying. D is lying. But then secondly, we find out that for the first 3 ones, so no matter what they're talking about, right? They are all saying a word is that they are not the least. A said he's not the least. B is not the least. C is the most, so he's not the least. So now A, B, C all saying they're not the least. So if D is not the least, one of the A, B, C must be at least one lying as well, because one of them must be the least. So this is the contradiction, right? So if D is lying and one of the A, B, C is also lying, so it's impossible. So which means, so then we can get D must be the least. So if D is the least, and then B is telling the truth. So it's only about A and C. So is C the most or not, right? So now, then again, if C is the most, so now if C is the most, C is telling the truth, and A is also telling the truth, then all of them are true. Which is also a contradiction because we have at least one line, right? So now it should be C is not the most, so C is lying. Okay. The answer is C. Yeah, the primary 3 question. Hey, I just wonder, so, hey, how do they set the option for this question? Because in RMO, we have 4 options and none of above. So how do they set the option for this one? How could it be? Because there are only 3 A, B, C. Oh, we have A, B, C, D. But how do you understand this none of above? Will anyone really choose the none of above for this question? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's an easy question. Yeah. So question 8, I remember we just trained a very similar question because it's an old question. So I remember we trained about the real question origin of this one in the holiday camp. So if you remember, so now it's the red, blue, green, and yellow. So the ratio of blue to green is 5 to 1. And then the green evenly divides the red, so which means, yeah, so it should look this way. It should look this way. Right? So this is a new sentence. So now which means, so red is a multiple of green. So now which is the, maybe suppose this XU, right? It's XU. And then after we add 1, 3, 4 blue added to it. So now 5U plus the 1, 3, 4 equal to directly 9 times of the red. So it's the 9 times XU. So now we get expression based on both X and U. And then we can simplify it, making it into 9x minus 5 times U equal to 134. So 134 can only be made by 2 times 67. 67 is a prime number. So now, of course, 9x minus 5 cannot be 2. Also cannot be 67. So which means, so there can only be 67. So this one is 67. So now 9x is 72. So x should equal to 8. And then u should equal to 2. So now we solve out the x, we solve out the u. And so now bring it back. This is a 16 here, 10 here, and 2 here. In total, we have 100. So 100 minus the 3 number is the yellow marbles, which is the 72. Right? So this question is not that easy. It should be a normal question, but then since it already occurs in the, it's what, 2018. I remember it's 2018 question, the exactly same question. So, which means I should put in the easy question. It's not only by the difficulty, but because it occurs, it comes from the real question. It comes from the real question, right? Okay, so then the question 9. Someone says, so many students tells me that this question, they give it in a different order. So it's the latter part minus the first part, right? Someone tells me about it, right? Someone tells me about it. So maybe it's true, but actually the method is always the same. So now we just making all the repeated structure. Yeah, here, it called as A, yeah, just before it, A, and this is the A, right? So now the original format is 1 plus A plus 2023, 2025, then minus 1 plus A plus 2023, 2025 times A. So when we open the bracket, you see all the terms involving this A is cancelled out. So the final expression is just 1 times 2023 over 2025. So it's directly this 2023 over, 2023 over 2025. Yeah, and then so, but if it's, so if reversed, however, then should be negative 2023, 2025. I think it's acceptable for them to reverse the order to avoid you to guessing out the answer, because I know many students see the structure. Hey, I know how to do it. Just write down the answer, but they didn't check about the order, right? So I think it's reasonable for them to reverse the order. So the answer is a negative number, but they don't give this option, so choose the E, right? So now this is just the case, right? This is just the case, right? So this is the question 9. So I think it's an easy question, but you should be careful if they really reverse the order. The answer should be a negative number, right? Do not be careless for the question you know how to do, right? Question 10, the divisibility of 99. We know that 99 is just the sum of every 2 digits, so it should be a very easy one. Right? So 99 should be able to divide the 63 plus 2b plus a3 plus 85. So now this one makes into 171 plus this ab I calculated. Right? So now, which means to make this one and bottom of 99 must equal to 198, the only option. So now AB should equal to 27. Right? So AB equal to 27. That's the easy one. So now for the 11A plus 9B, 11 times 2, 9 times 7, 63, 8, 85. 85. Right? Easy question. So far, easy questions. How about question 11? Yeah. So question Question 11, actually, we just calculate the numerator, denominator. Q7 has no, I see, even I see the question 7 has no, it's not important, So just, this is just a joke. So, because this question is easy, and then, so I just wonder, so how they set the options. It's not that important, right? So now you see the denominator, right? We can just group it one by one. We make it 3 minus 2, 5 minus 4, and then 2025 minus 2024. And then for this one, it's 3 squared minus 2 squared, 5 squared minus 4 squared, and then into the 2025 squared minus 2024 squared. Right? So now on the denominator, every bracket is a 1. So we have 1012 of the 1 is the 1012. And for the numerator, actually, the square difference of two adjacent numbers is their sum. So it's the 2, 3, 4, 5, 2024, 2025, which we can use the Gaussian sum for it. So now it's the 1 over 2 times the 2027 times the number of terms, which is also a 1012. So we cancel, the number of it is 2024 and 1012, right? Half of it is 1012, right? So then we cancel out this 2024. So the answer is the 2027, right? Also easy question. I think the calculation question they're also easy. They're all easy. Question 12. Actually, we have two ways of solving this question. So one is easy, one is difficult, but both ways should work it, right? So now we just see that. So we have this 3-digit number A, B, C, and with B equal to 2B equal to A plus C, right? So now the method 1. Yeah, maybe we talk about the basic method as the listing. Because we know the sum of A plus C. So can we just use the listing of discuss about the value of B's? Of course, B cannot be 0. So now we just see the B's value, A plus C's value, and then the number of ways here. Now B could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The sum of A plus C is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 40, 60, 18, right? And then, so generally, A cannot be 0. So now the number of ways, 1, but C can be 0. So 1, 1 or 2, 0, we have 2 ways. So now A could be 1, 2, 3, 4. A could be 1, 2, 6. A could be 1, 2, 8. But for 10, you see that when A plus C equal to 10, A can only be 1 to 9. And for A equal to 12, the smallest value for A is 3. So it's 3 to 9. We only have 7 ways. Then 5, then 3, then 1. So just adding all this number together totally is the 45. So this is the basic method. So I think for this one, it's the easiest method for you to think it of. But then after that, so we have another method. So this method is a little bit weird. So now you can accept C. So first, 2B equal to A plus C. So now 2 divides the sum of A plus C, which means A and C must have the same parity. And then here's the thing, but it's maybe acceptable is that as long as we find A and C with the same parity, so now we can always find out the B as their average, and this B can always serve as a middle number. So if these two numbers are between 1 to 9, so their average is also 1 to 9. So which means for every A and C with same parity, we can always get exactly 1B in the middle as their average. So which means we just need to do the multiplication law. So first, if A and C both odd, then A have 5 options, C have 5 options for all being odd. And if they all be even, then A have only 4 options since A cannot be 0, but C can be 0. So now 5 times 5, then 4 times 5. So now the answer is 45. This method is easier. This method is easier. So Chen, you remember I told you a thing is that, so in counting questions, they never gave the option E. If you remember my word, you won't choose the E, I suppose. Because counting is so easy to make mistakes. So to avoid that the student get mistake but still get the correct option. So now they never give option E to the counting question. I talked about it before the test, I remember. So now if you remember my word, you won't choose the E. Right? Okay, never mind, just one question. Then question 13. Yeah, this question is interesting. Yeah, but by the way, is this easy or normal? Maybe normal, maybe normal. Maybe normal, not easy, not that easy. Yeah. And then the question 13. Question 13, I suppose, is a difficult question. So this is about to split a number into the sum of prime numbers. So when we mention the prime, we should always talk about the parity, right? So we should also talk about the parities, right? So now it's just the general rule. So this question is also about parity. So now you see that the logic is we can make 42 into the sum of two prime number. And then we split the prime number into another prime number, y and p2. And then making it a second prime number, z, and then a even number here, right? So then how many ways are there? So now in the end, how many ways are there? So now first, we look at the parities. Because, right, this is way easier. I solved this question. It does not tell you about even number. It's only natural number, so it's difficult. But if it's an even number, maybe I should change it to a normal one instead of difficult one. If it's only an even number. So since now, look at the parity. So 42 should equal to x plus y plus z plus an even number. So the sum of x, y, z, the three prime number, they are also even. So we know the sum of the three numbers. So now you see the sum of three numbers, they are always the odd number, they're odd. So there must be one even number between this prime number, so which is a 2. But who is the 2? Can z be the 2? No. If z is the 2, p2 is an even number. It's not okay. p2 is a prime number. Can x be 2? Also no. If x is 2, then p1 is an even number. So the only number can be 2 should be this 1, right? So now we should find out that is y must be a even number. So first, y is an even number, right? So now we know y must equal to 2. And then, so now first, 42 should be split into two odd prime numbers. So maybe just see how to make it work. So actually, I remember there's 5 times the 5 plus 37, 11 and 29, 11 and 31, 13 and 29, 19 and 23. Yeah, we have this 4 group. We have these 4 groups. And then in each of the group, let's see how to split it into the number we need. So since now we can see that, so can 5 be this x? Or maybe can 5 be this p1? So x can be anything. You just talk about p1. So if 5 to split it into 2 and 3, and then so now 2 is the y, 3 is the p2. But can 3 be split into prime number plus an even number? No, right? It's the 2 non-zero integer, so not possible. So 5 cannot serve as the p1, right? 5 cannot be the p1. So can 37 be the p1? No, because 37 is 2 plus 35. 35 is not a prime number, so 37 cannot be p1. Can 11 be the p1? Also no, because 11 is 2 plus 9, right? p1 is 2 plus another prime number, p2. But this one is possible, so 2 and 29, right? So 31 can be written as 2 and 29. So which means, in this case, this 29 must be written into the prime number plus an even number. So as long as we just need to find the odd prime number below it. So we have 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 20, 19, 23, right? So these are all the numbers that can work at the Z here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 ways. We have 8 ways. Okay? So now, yeah, 31 can be the P1. Can 13 become the P1? It's possible because 13 can be written as 2 and 11. So now in this case, right, Z could be all the prime number below 11. So it could be, yeah, still we need to list something. So maybe just, again, a difficult question. So I thought it would be easier, but actually it's not that easy. Just make fewer cases, but generally it's the same thing. So Z must equal to 3, 5, 7. So we have 3 ways here. 29 cannot be P1 since 29 equal to 2 plus 27, right? Okay, and then so 19 and 23 can not, but 19 can. It's 2 and 17. So we can have 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. So we should have 5 options here. So in total, we have 8 plus 3 plus 5, so which is the 16, right? So totally we have 16 ways. So maybe I change my word. It's a difficult question. Yeah, still we need to list. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So give an even number, make it easier. Give you a stronger hint, but still not that easy, maybe. Right? Then the question 14. Question 14 says that this is an easy question. So 25 students, the sum is 2025. The largest number is 94. What is the minimum value of the lowest? So if you want the minimum value to the lowest, then we should everyone else as high as possible. So now since the highest one is already 94, all the others should be below this 94. So now the other 24 students, so we can just from 94, each time we decrease by 1. And so now for 24 number, we can minus the 23, so it's the 23, so it's the 71. Yeah, should be 71, right? Should be 71. And then, so what is it's a 71. Yeah, should be 71, right? So now the sum of all these numbers adding together should be 94, 71, 165. 165 times 12. Yeah. Calculator. What is the final answer? 2025 minus 165 times 12. 45. Yeah, the answer is 45. Okay, that should be an easy question. Should be easy question. Question 15, an easy question. How many times did you train about it? How many times did you train about this one? Right, so many times I have to say. Right, so just to use this is 2025 factorial, so we just use the ladder method, divide by 5 each time. So it's 405, 81, 16, and 3, right? So just adding all this number together, 405, 81, 16, and 3. So it's the 505, right? So the answer is 505. So actually, there's a rule for you to check. You should always remember that the number 5 in n factorial is always close to quarter of n inside of it. So this is a rule for you to check out the answer, right? So, and it's about estimation, right? When is round 2? When we get into round 1? Round 2 is just did they announce it? So I remember it's 1 month later. I remember it's 1 month later. So early May. Yeah, it's something like early May. You should check the official website. So at the second week of May, I remember it's the second week of May. I don't remember the actual date. And then, so question 16. So now it says that, so we have a X and Y. So Alice takes the 2 hour, 24 minutes, and B takes 3 hours. And then, so A goes faster. So A goes and turns back. And B they meet in the middle. right? So now you see this is a multiple meeting, 15 May, the third week. Okay, it's the third week of the May. Yeah. So then how many times do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks afterwards. 5 weeks afterwards. Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So we'll talk about second round thing later. Right? So now you see that, so totally they get to travel for 2 of the total distance. Then because we know the time for them to travel each of the total distance, so we can name the total distance as 1 unit, or maybe just 1, right? And then the speed can be determined. The speed of Alice is the 1 divides the 2 hour, 24 minutes is 2 and 2 over 5 minutes, right? So it's the 5 over 12 U per hour. And then speed of B is just the 1/3 U per hour. And then in this meeting, right, together they travel 2 times the total distance. Now 2 divides this 5 over 12 plus 1/3. So it's the 9 over, it's the 3 over 4. So now it's the 8 over 3 hours. So it's the 2 hour 40 minutes. So the actual time will then be 10:40, right? Also easy question. Then, so the answer is 18. No. The answer should be the actual time, right? It's not 18. It cannot be 18. Maybe you're not talking about this question. Right. Okay, so 17 is an easy question. So I remember, so again, this question is a normal question. So yeah, maybe I just label it here. The difficulty should be a normal question because you should use the number stand to find out what this number is really about. But this is an old question. This question occurred in 2019. So this is a 2019 year's real question. So because it occurs as a real question, so it should be easy for you. So this is always the rule. So if a question repeats again in the next year, I thought this question is easy because we suppose you already done all the real papers before, right? So, and also, is there any other questions before? I remember still a thing. Yeah, this question 8, right? Question 8 is something like this. So now, it's a normal question level if you are the first time to see it. But if you see it before as a real question, it's an easy question, right? Okay, so this is about the question 17. It's the same story. So the problem is, look at, so now in the structure, the numerator is just a constant number. For the denominator, what are these denominators? Do you know them? If you don't know them, what about the half of them? You should be familiar with these numbers, right? This is a 1, 3, 2. Because they are 3 times 4, 4 times 5, and in the end, it's 11 times 12, right? So you can find out, it's just the 2 times of it. 2 times of it. Question 8, yeah, we'll talk about question 8 later. Right? So we can review if you don't understand it. Right. So now we can just, first, we cancel out a 2 on each side. So make it a 504. And then we extract this 504 out. So it's the 1 over 3, 4, 1 over 4, 5, 1 over 5, 6, and then 1 over 11, 12. So now inside the bracket is very standard format, 1 over 3 minus 1 over 12. Now it's the 504 times 1 over 4. So it's a 1, 2, 6. This is final answer. The final answer. Yeah, 1, 2, 6. 2, 6. Yeah. So this is the easy, or maybe normal, I don't know. So just set it as easy normal, right? The real paper is more confusing. X, so I don't know. So yeah, you know. So I spent. So, you know, the question 9, I don't know the real description of question 19, but this is a description given by one of my students. And I look at this question for what, 3 minutes to understand what the question is really about. But I find out it's just the worst case scenario, the basic worst case scenario. Right? So, but I think it's a normal because the logic is so twisted logic. Yeah? We admit that there's twisted logic behind this question. So I think it's okay. right? So maybe we talk about question 19 first, since we already mentioned about this question. So now it says that, so now we have total 60 balls. And then when we put into 60 balls per ball, so we divide it into 6 balls of 10. So now, yeah, I suppose this description is not that, so it should be more accurate. For example, it should go, we always have, and maybe there should be a word always, so to make, so yeah, for it. So because this is the version given by one of my students, so I just saw there should be an always, and I find out the only answer, I suppose this is the correct way. And also, so each box we always have, yeah, maybe we should add in this 2 always here to make it more accurate, right? So this is a worst case scenario, or maybe the pigeonhole theorem. So now, no matter how we divide this box, there will always be one box have at least 4 black. So which means how many blacks at least do we have? We think about the worst case. We want to ensure that one box have at least 4. So now the worst case is for all the 6 boxes, we have only 3 blacks. Right? Yeah, we talk about question 18 later, because we just go to the question 19. We just talk about the understanding of the questions. We just go here. It's not, so this question is more friendly to local students, right? So not friendly to PR, because PR have worse English. So this is English question. The worst case for the black is the 18. So to ensure, it's the 18 plus 1 equal to 19. So which means the number of black is at least 19, right? And then also for the red, what is the worst case for red? The worst case is 3 boxes of 20. Each box will always have at least red. So now, which means the worst case is that we have 1 box with no red. The worst case is to make all the other boxes full and the 3rd box empty, right? So which means the worst case is 40. The worst case is 40. And so ensure this thing from happening, we need 40 plus 1 is 41. So we can also see that the red ball is at least 41. It's wrong. Where is wrong? So where is wrong? Where is wrong, by the way? So I think this is the proper understanding, since we can find the only solution here. So now based on this understanding, right? So now, because we have at least 19 black, and we must have at least 41 red. But the total is only 60. So the only way to make this at least happen is that they all equal to together. At least, well, where is at least 3? Where is at least 3? So where is the at least 3 here? So this is at least 3, you mean? This is at least 3? You mean others? But then that makes no sense. Because if it's 3 here, then you cannot. So I suppose, right? So at least 4, that makes the question reasonable. But if you all say that at least 3 black, at least 3 black. But hey, if it's at least 3, no, it's more than 3. It's at least 4. Anything different? More than 3 and at least 4. Yeah, if the question said that more than 3, okay. Anything different? Anything different? It's the same thing. Hey. So it's the same thing, right? So I'm thinking about whether you are just, so you're trying to tell me this question is wrong. And I think it's not. I think it's not. So it's correct. It's a different description. More than 3 and at least 4. What is the difference? What is the difference? So it must be a whole number, right? It must be a whole number. You cannot have 3.5 black balls or something like that. Right? Okay. Right? Because this is the only way to make this question, for this question to make sense. Okay. So this is the only way for this question to make sense. You don't understand this meaning. So this is the classic description of the. So now, what if I made a new question for you? Hey, Chani, I made a new question for you. So now, if we take, so now at least, to answer this question. So now, at least, how many black balls to make one of the box always at least 4, right? So can you understand this question? So now we just randomly pick the distribute black balls into 6 boxes, right? How can we make there is always one box at least 4? Yeah, I always here. This is a very classic worst case scenario description, if you know that. So the worst case is to make every box equal to 3. So it's the 16. Sorry, it's the 18. So we just need to one more black ball to ensure this thing from happening. Okay? So do you see this question before? So now you see this question, just the hybrid, just the hybrid of this type. Yeah, the hybrid is 19. It's 19. 19, yeah, it's 19, right? You see, and then, so it's the same thing. And then for the red balls, so now I said that, so the red ball, each box, we always have at least one red. So the worst case is like, so, yeah, so that's just the thing. For the red, it's the same thing, right? So just the worst case is to make 2 of the box. All of them are red, but we have no red ball for the third one. So now the worst case for the red is 40. So the red is at least 41, right? What is the wrong line? So we finished all the question and I will calculate it. So there is a formula to calculate it, right? What does this first sentence mean? Totally, what is the first sentence? This one? Ignore this one first. Ignore this one first. So this one is exactly the same meaning as this question. When put into, because we have 60 balls, so now you just divide it into 6 boxes, each with the 10. So I think, yeah, so you must be confused by this one, but actually it's the same thing. We divide this, maybe we have several black balls. We divide into 6 boxes, which is the 6 pigeonhole here. So how to ensure one pigeonhole at least 4? Now you see. So this 10 per box with 6 balls come from the 60. Yeah, come from the 60. Yeah, I suppose maybe I tried this one difficult one since the meaning of this question is confusing, right? Yeah. I cannot just explain to you in detail. So actually, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. If you at least 4, yes, at least 4. Yeah, it's at least 4. Yeah, at least 4. The red ball is 41, so the black ball is 19. Is this a logical question? It's not about mathematics, right? They try to trick you. Of course, they want to trick you. You see the negative 223, 225, just another question they trick you, of course, right? So, hey, just don't, hey, you know the logic is do not see about the colors. Treat this 2 sentences. Hey, listen to me and try to understand this again. Just understand this question. Understand this 2 sentences as 2 different questions. Okay? And also ignore the actual numbers. Ignore this actual numbers. Ignore this stuff. Now read this question like this. If we put black balls into 6 boxes, one box will always have at least 4 black. And the second question is, when we put red balls into 3 boxes, each box will have at least 1 red. Okay, you understand now? It's confusing. I suppose it's confusing, of course, right? And this is not the exact description, of course, right? So I spent 3 minutes on understanding this question. I spent 3 minutes and finally understand it. And okay. Oh, we have 2 questions left. Question 18 is also a difficult question. Yeah. So if you don't know the strategy, you should try a lot of time to find it. So now it says that we have 9-digit numbers. So the requirement is, so first, odd and even numbers are not adjacent, so which means we must put the odd digit here. Odd, 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 odd. Right. And then, and then secondly, is the sum of the first 6 is less than the sum of the last 3. So the total sum is 45. So now the sum of the last 3 is at least 23. And then how can this 23 be made? So you look at it. So the largest 3 number is 987 is only 24. So 23 can only be made by, because 2 odd and 1 even. So it's 987. So the only way to make the last 3 digit is 987. And then also 1, 4, and 9 must be adjacent to each other. So now 9 cannot be here because this is 967. So 9 must be here. And this is 1, this is the 4, this is the 87, right? So now we determine the, you don't have to even list. You don't need to list. To be accurate, you don't need to list, right? And then, so now in the structure, so we satisfy the first 3. So the last thing is that the first 4 digit is divisible by 16. Right, so now we have 2 and 6 here. We have 3 and, we have 2 and 6, 2 and 6, 3 and 5, 5 and 3. And then the logic is, so first, if we want to make it into a, so if we want to make it a multiple of 16, it must be first be a multiple of 4. So now this 2 must be a multiple of 4. But actually all of them are multiple of 4. But then we can try multiple of 8. So there is a quite, so there is a quite interesting thing is that, so if we know that, so this is A, B, C, D. So now 8 divides B, C, D. But then we know B is the even number. So now this one is B00 plus CD. We know that 200 is multiple of 8, right? So now which means 8 can divide a even number 00. So now 8 can always divide CD. The last digit must be a multiple of 8 as well. So which means it should be either 32 or 56. Only those 2 things. Then just check which one is a multiple of 16, right? So now this one is not. So now we find out this number. So the number itself is the 563214987. And then we want to find the remainder of this number divided by 7. Can we just do division directly? Of course it can. It's not that large. But actually we have an easier way to calculate the remainder if we have to save your time. So the logic is these. Oh no. Look at here. 56 a multiple of 7. 14 multiple of 7. 98 multiple of 7. 7 is a multiple of 7. So the only thing that is not multiple of 7 is this 32. So we can just use place value principle to split all the multiple of 7 out. So this one, when we calculate the remainder by 7, it's just the 3 2 and 5 zeros, which is 32 times 10 to the power of 5. So this is easier for you to calculate. So 32 has a multiple, a remainder 4 divided by 7. 10 to the power of 5 is 3 to the power of 5. So 3 to the power of n divided by 7 is 3, 2, 6, 4, 5. So now it has a 4 times 5, which is a remainder 6, then divided by 7. So this is easier to do the calculation instead of just do the division of this 9-digit number, right? But still, if you do the division, it's not that terrible, right? It's acceptable. It's acceptable, by the way. Oh no, my cell phone is out of battery. Question 18. Okay, finally, the question 20, the last question for today. This is maybe difficult question. Should it be difficult or normal? Should it be difficult or normal? Maybe it's normal because even if you list, there is only 4 numbers to list. Only 4 numbers to list if you really don't know how to do hand list. Maybe it's a normal question. Maybe I suppose it's a normal question. Normal question. And then the question 20. The question 20. So now this question, normal, yeah, just normal. Right. Okay, so the question 20. So it said we have two guys, C and D. They can work on job A and job B. So now we find out the interesting thing is that all of them, C and D, they both have a better work rate on job A, but worse work rate on job B. So now how do we arrange their work? So if they both have the work rate, so we can just find out the ratio of their work rate. So now you see that the ratio of this one is just 1.6, and this is about 3, right? Some 2.9 or something like this, right? So now you see that the work rate for D to do B. No, so now what if it is this one, right? So it is the D to do A. D do A, the work rate is 3 times than T to do B. But for C, doing A is only 1.6 times than do B. So now, actually, we can see that D is more suitable for A. Right? So this is a very fast skill to determine who do what. Right? To compare the ratio of their work rate. So who is the higher ratio, who is more suitable in one of the work? Right? So we should make D to do A and then C to do B, the first. Right? So this is the first 7 days. So D to do A, C to do B. So now D finish all the A in the 7 days. And then the secondly, so now we can make C and D work together for the remaining B here. So now, so C work for B, so should spend, so this is total, and then for B, should finish 7 over 16. The remaining is 9 over 16. And then 9 over 16, we then divide the sum of their work rate. So D work for B is 1 over 20, C over for B is 1 over 16, right? And then we find out the answer here is the 5. So now 7 days and 5 days, so 7 plus 5 is 12 days. Should this be easy question or normal question? Hey, should this one be easy question or normal question? I think it's easy because it's not that hard for you to find out who is suitable then. So because D is suitable, so now actually there is an easier way because, right, we don't need to use this. We can just compare it, right? So C have a lower work rate in job A, but a higher work rate than work B. So it's easier for you to determine that it's the D to work for A, C to work for B. It's easier to determine. It's not like the question so I thought it's the question that it's not that easy for you to tell it, right? So then I think it's an easy question. Maybe just an easy question. Okay. So, or normal. I think it's easy. I think it's very easy for you to determine the strategy. Okay, so now about the line, right? So now, let me just gather all the points here. So how many normal and how many easy? So how many normal, easy, and difficult? So we have 1, 2. We don't count this one. 3, 4, 4 normal. Question 20 is easy. 4 normal. And then how many difficult? 1, 2, 3. 3 difficult. So which means we have the 13 easy, right? So I will tell you the estimation score. So now I use this one to times a 80%. And then I use this one to times a 50%. And I use this one to times a 20%. So what is the final point? So it's the 10.4, 2, and 0.6. So 30. The EN, we put it in the, I put it in the easy because it's real questions. It's real questions. I suppose at least for the second round level student, they should have seen this question before, right? So it's just counted an easy one. So now it's 13 for the second round. Not that high, not that high. So now we should be 65 points. 65 points. Could be slightly lower than 65 points because easy question have fewer mark, right? But I think this is the estimation. Yeah, this is just the estimation. So the real question should be around this level, should be one question lower, one question more. I don't know. Yeah. So, but believe me, so I use this model to do the estimation for 3 years, and each year I'm very accurate. Yeah. Okay. So now this is about, you want to know the HD line. That's the line. I don't count the distinction lines meaningless, right? Okay, so now just like this. So maybe that's all. Maybe that's all. Yeah. The problem is my cell phone is out of battery. So any question you can ask here. So I cannot see the WeChat box because there is no cell phone for me. I can still see the YouTube channel. Yeah, you want to see the easy normal. So, hey, the definition of easy normal, the meaning is not that this question is between easy normal. It means that this question, if you see the first time, is the normal level, but because it's the second time you see it, it should be an easy level, you know? But this is actually the second time you see it. There are real questions before, so now it should count it as the easy question here, you know? So if you have any questions, you can just ask here, and then so no, I don't think the estimation will change. So I have to say that if we suppose that for all the students who are for the second round, right, who are going for the second round, they should have done all the previous questions about all the previous real questions. So this should be easy question for them, right? So it's quite realistic. It's quite realistic. APM or PS golden strategy or whatever. I don't know. So 14, I think 14 is enough. I think 14 is enough to do the second round. So both for the P5 or P6, P6 have more students to enter, and then P5 have weaker competitors. Yeah, I think just more than 14 questions will be enough. More than 14 questions will be enough. So now it is okay, right? So we can end up here. So I'm trying to think, so how can I get home without my cell phone? I don't know. So you know, this is a problem for the modern society. So, you know, in the old age, in the old age, we don't have cell phones, so we don't worry about how to go anywhere because we don't have the smartphone. But now everything's rely on our smartphone. So if the smartphone is down, oh, there will be trouble. So it's similar to you. So do not rely too much on your calculator as well. So because you are not allowed to use the calculator in a real test. So now I rely on my smartphone so much, so now I don't know how to go home. And for you, so so yeah, you know, so my MRT card is on the NFC in my cell phone. I don't have a physical MRT card. I don't have the Easy Link. You know the problem. But it is a joke. But I have a bank. I might have a bank card anyway, so I can just use the bank card to the MRT. It's just a joke, but just tells you, do not. Yeah. So do not rely on your 2 is too much, especially calculator. Okay, so maybe that's all for today. So I will send the notes to the WhatsApp group, and maybe the other teacher will help me share it to all the students. Okay, bye bye today. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to thing is that about the second round. So I suppose most students here, they're all the long-term students. But then if you are not a single student yet, but you want to join our second round spring camp, so you can contact Teacher Turner, or maybe just contact this, right? You can just use the link information here. So maybe I will share Teacher Turner's QR code. So let me find, where is it? So it's here. Okay, so I will share it here so you would see. Oh no. Okay. So if you are not a Sigma student and you are interested in the second round training, you can contact Teacher Turner. Okay, that's all. I will stop at this page and then for a while, and then we can leave now. I wonder how much to get. When does it start? We just have, no, maybe after result is given, so just next week. But you know, the P6 Elite still goes on this week, so I will give you another way of training. So it's different thing. Okay, so maybe that's all for today. Bye bye. The training, yeah, we will determine later. We don't know the actual time, but maybe just like last year, you know the last year's case, right? So just maybe one whole weekend, maybe just one whole weekend.